I woke up in a prison cell with no memory of how I got there, holding stolen diamonds while the entire server was convinced I was the most notorious thief in Minecraft history. The first thing I noticed was the iron bars. The second was my inventory full of stolen goods, emeralds, enchanted books, and rare artifacts belonging to every major player on the server. The third was the angry mob gathered outside my cell. "Steve finally got caught," someone shouted. 3 months of perfect heists and you finally made a mistake." 3 months? I barely remembered the last 3 days, let alone months of supposedly being a master criminal. My last clear memory was going to bed in my own base after a normal mining session. The evidence against me was overwhelming. Security recordings showing me sneaking into bases with professional precision. Detailed heist plans written in my own handwriting. Even witnesses who had seen me casing various targets for weeks. But here's what made no sense. I was terrible at stealth. My idea of sneaking was crouching while wearing full diamond armor that clanked with every step. The person in those recordings moved like a ninja, which I definitely was not. The trial was a disaster. Every piece of evidence pointed to me, but I had no memory of committing any crimes. The judge, Sarah, looked at me with disappointment that broke my heart. "Steve, we have video proof. Just confess and tell us where you hid the rest of the stolen goods." That's when I noticed something strange. In every security recording, I was doing things slightly wrong. Building techniques too advanced for my skill level, using tools in ways I had never learned. Even my walking pattern was different, more confident, more calculated. During my second night in prison, I found a hidden book containing detailed plans for all the heists, written in handwriting that looked like mine but felt wrong. The plans were signed Steve Beta. Steve Beta? There was no player on our server with that name. I started talking to my fellow prisoners and discovered we were all experiencing the same thing. Jake was in for arson he didn't remember committing. Emma was accused of griefing builds she had actually helped construct. Maria was charged with stealing from her own best friends. All of us had missing memories spanning months and evidence that looked real but felt completely wrong. The breakthrough came when I noticed my cellmate talking in his sleep. But instead of Jake's normal voice, it was someone else speaking through him, giving detailed reports about successful memory implantation and behavioral modification protocols. We weren't prisoners. We were test subjects in someone's elaborate experiment. I spent the next 3 days quietly gathering evidence while pretending to accept my guilt. Hidden cameras in prison walls that shouldn't exist. Guards who never changed shifts. And most disturbing of all, perfect duplicates of ourselves that only appeared when we were supposed to be asleep. During the next memory modification session, I stayed awake and followed the real criminals to their base of operations. What I discovered was a massive underground laboratory where someone had been experimenting with player consciousness transfer. They could copy personalities, implant false memories, and control duplicates remotely while keeping the originals sedated and unaware. The mastermind turned out to be a player who had been kicked from our server months ago for griefing. This was his elaborate revenge, framing the entire community by using our own copied personalities against us. The final confrontation required convincing my own duplicate to help shut down the laboratory. Apparently, even artificial versions of me were too stubborn to accept being controlled by someone else. When we finally destroyed the consciousness transfer machine, months of suppressed memories came flooding back. We remembered being sedated, having our personalities copied, and watching helplessly as our duplicates committed crimes in our names. Sometimes the most terrifying adventures are the ones that make you question whether your own thoughts and memories can be trusted.